It's time for a reckoning over at The View. According to the New York Post, ABC brass scramble to bring in pro-Trump voices to The View and other shows. They are in complete, quote, panic mode. Now, it's currently unclear whether they're simply going to bring in new hosts to join the already crowded panel, or whether they're going to replace some of their co-hosts. To me, though, it doesn't really matter because let's be honest, do you really think that Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin are going to be willing to share that table with someone who is truly a conservative, say, I don't know, like a Carrie Lake or someone like that? I mean, liberals have a tendency to flee whenever they can't completely dominate a conversation. I mean, just earlier today, Joy Reid finally announced that she's leaving Twitter because, well, tantrum.
So today I finally did something I've been meaning to do for a while. And the reason for doing it, and kissing goodbye my 1.9 million followers over there, is because I hadn't been posting for a long time. I just didn't want to contribute content once it was purchased by its present owner. But just having it there, I was only holding on to it because I, really didn't want someone trying to take over that name and using it for nefarious purposes. I was a little bit worried about that. And also every so often I would use it to just sort of look at news that was trending and what's happening. And I would just sort of use it as an aggregator. But I just realized that that's not really worth it, because in order to do the news aggregation and just look at all, you have to wade through a lot of dreck and a lot of just abuse and a lot of just negativity, and it's just not worth it. And,
Yeah, so she is left X, and this is not uncommon. The Guardian left X because, again, they can't dominate the conversation. They can't force everyone to conform to the worldview. And I think that that's a very realistic possibility over at The View. If the ABC top brass bring in a conservative, I would not be surprised if there's a mass exodus of the current co-host. Now, it's not just the election. They also have to deal with ratings fallout. Their ratings have been dropping and catering through the floor. Now, to be fair, they did have their highest show in over 10 years. This was the day immediately after the election, according to the Washington Examiner. But let's be real. The ratings were probably really high because we all tuned in to see what kind of a meltdown they were going to have. Well, the meltdown wasn't just the day after the election. The meltdown actually lasted an entire week. Yesterday, Whoopi Goldberg attempted to relate to the average American person. She basically called herself a working class woman, just like, all you other stay-at-home moms and working moms out there. Take a look at this.
I'm sorry, when you have one candidate who has been running for 12 years, who lies and changes things, I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too.
Yeah.
I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here. Okay? So I'm a working person, And my kid has to feed her family, and my great-granddaughter has to be fed by her family. I know it's hard out there, but I also know that there are a lot of things that we just said, no, I'm just going to go this way.
Right.
And a lot of that is also what happened. I love what she did. Yay. We talk to people all the time who say, this is what's bothering me. But the thing that's bothering everybody should not be the thing that puts 85% of other people in danger.
Yeah.
Just talk about being out of touch with reality. In case you don't already know, Whoopi Goldberg has a net worth of $60 million, and apparently her annual contract is estimated to be in between $3 to $5 million per year. That's according to Variety. Now, it's not just The View that's struggling with the ratings drop and having to pay these exorbitant salaries to their on-air talent. The same thing is happening over at CNN. According to the Daily Mail, the network is considering laying off hundreds of staffers, including some of its on-air rare talent. Here on the screen, you can see their annual salaries. Anderson Cooper raking in $20 million a year. Trump hater Caitlin Collins, $3 million a year. I mean, it's really hard to pay those salaries when your ratings are dropping, advertisers are fleeing, and when you're facing multiple defamation lawsuits, many of which I've covered here on the channel. Now, over at The View earlier today, Whoopi Goldberg essentially announced that she is joining the 4B, 4 No's movement in a way. Now, she's not going to shave her head, but she's apparently joining in the female sex strike against men.
This.
We all came from
I dare, yeah, you didn't get here by yourself, man. You can't do this without us.
Yeah.
And if we don't let you, you don't get any. It's that simple. It's that simple.
I mean, okay, we talk a lot about toxic masculinity as a culture, but what I think this election really exposed for the entire nation, and I haven't seen anyone talk about this, by the way, is that we do have an actual issue with toxic femininity, and we're seeing it right now, and that's why we're seeing these temper tantrums happen on the left, primarily among women. I mean, it's not healthy, it's not rational, it's not sane, and someone needs to call this out and hold them to account because it is really turning into a public health crisis. Now, speaking of crisis, do you remember that TDA gang that took over those apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado? Well, apparently that Venezuelan gang has now infiltrated every single city in Tennessee, according to the director of the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. TDA is operating in every major city and is engaged in human trafficking.
The TBI says not only is the dangerous gang growing nationwide, but it's impacting every major city across Tennessee.
They have a pathway to more violence.
The TBI director, David Roush, warning Governor Bill Lee in a budget hearing Tuesday about the rising threat of a violent criminal group, Tren de Aragua.
They're back in all of our major cities. They are running human trafficking operations.
Roush says the Venezuelan gang does not hesitate to attack their opponents in public.
Recently, there was a video that they shot where they shot an individual, a cartel member, 31 times, broad daylight, on video and posted it to social media.
Roush says they'll next engage in more retail theft before taking on the drug trade.
I mean, January 20th cannot come soon enough. I can't wait for those people to be deported, kicked out of the country, and never let back in. That is absolutely terrifying that this is happening. Not just in Aurora, Colorado, but now in Tennessee, and who knows how many other cities and states are being affected by this sort of violence. Now, there is this video over on CNN that's going viral all over the internet. A CNN reporter was asking this illegal, undocumented migrant about whether or not he would still support Trump, whether he personally himself got deported, and his answer shocked CNN.
If you get deported, would you regret your support to Donald Trump?
No me arrepentiría.
He's saying that he wouldn't regret supporting Donald Trump. So you're really not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children and the future of your children.
Yes, I want the better for my children.
Now, just listening to Tom Homan and all the others in the administration, it's really clear that their plan of action is going to be to focus on those gang members, you know, those violent criminal offenders who've engaged in murder, sexual assault, and all those awful things. So I hope that once all of that is taken care of, that this gentleman we saw here has gotten his paperwork and legal status in order, because I like what I saw there. I think it's a reminder that, yes, America is a land of dreams and opportunity, but of course, you have to do it the right way. Now, I do want to cover one other story before we close out this video. It's actually an older story. So immediately after October 7th last year, we saw this burst of anti-Semitism on college campuses. So Donald Trump created this idea, he announced it, and he just recently reconfirmed his commitment to this idea, and he wants to create an American Academy. And essentially what it would be this online university that would be free for every single American citizen. And once you go through this course, you could have a college degree in basically any subject, any degree that you want, completely for free. And he would do this without taxing anyone, and it would be because of these university endowments, specifically these universities that are brainwashing today's youth. Here's what he said.
In recent weeks, Americans have been horrified to see students and faculty at Harvard and other once respected universities expressing support for the savages and jihadists who attacked Israel. We spend more money on higher education than any other country, and yet they're turning our students into communists and terrorists and sympathizers of many, many different dimensions. We can't let this happen. It's time to offer something dramatically different. Under the plan I'm announcing today, we will take the billions and billions of dollars that we will collect by taxing, fining, and suing excessively large private university endowments, and we will then use that money to endow a new institution called the American Academy. Its mission will be to make a truly world-class education available to every American, free of charge, and do it without adding a single dime to the federal debt. This institution will gather an entire universe of the highest quality educational content covering the full spectrum of human knowledge and skills, and make that material available to every American citizen online for free. Whether you want lectures or ancient histories or an introduction to financial accounting or training in a skilled trade, the goal will be to deliver it and get it done properly. Using study groups, mentors, industry partnerships, and the latest breakthrough in computing, this will be a truly top-tier education option for the people. It will be strictly non-political, and there will be no wokeness or jihadism allowed. None of that's going to be allowed. Most importantly, the American Academy will compete directly with the existing and very costly four-year university system by granting students degree credentials that the U.S. government and all federal contractors will henceforth recognize. The Academy will award the full and complete equivalent of a bachelor's degree. In addition, to help the 40 million Americans who have some college education but no degree, the American Academy will grant credit for past coursework at legacy institutions and give you the chance to complete your education at the American Academy for free and much more quickly than is now possible or available. This will be a revolution in higher education and will provide life-changing opportunities for tens of millions of our citizens. Enjoy it, learn from it, and thank you.
As someone who favors smaller government and limited government, I initially wasn't sure what to think about all of this, I'm not one for handouts, but the more I thought about it, it's not really a handout because you still have to work for it. You still have to study and pass the test to get your college degree. And the best part is, it's not going to cost anything for you or for me, and it's going to be available to all American citizens, not just college-age kids, but people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, people who maybe never had the chance to go to college or want a new career path, want a new start in life. So how is this going to work? I actually had no idea this was the case until I saw the video, but a lot of universities currently, public and private, are classified as nonprofit organizations. So that means the tuition they charge as well as the donations they receive are allowed to grow tax-free in these massive endowment funds. And many of them are now in the billions, tens of billions of dollars. Many of these endowment funds are actually larger than the GDP of countries around the world. It's absolutely insane. So what Trump is proposing is, hey, if these institutions aren't going to actually behave like nonprofit institutions, if they are going to be like for-profit, and if they're going to be indoctrinating our kids, then why shouldn't we tax them like every other business? And if we tax them, then we'll use that money to create this American Academy. And the people at Columbia University are already talking about this. According to the Stand Columbia Society, they are expecting a 20% excise tax on endowment gains. Now, if you want to realize how massive this is, this year alone, Columbia's endowment has earned a gross investment return of $1.5 billion. Again, currently, and for the last few decades, this has all been tax-free. So $1.5 billion in this calendar year alone. So with this tax, they're expecting that they would be taxed $296 million. And as Trump said in the video, his proposal is to use that money to fund the American Academy and then therefore offer a college degree to all Americans for free, which really should undercut this liberal movement for free student loans for everyone. Now, the Stand Columbia Society has recently updated their projections. You'll see this was updated November 10, 2024, and they now estimate that their yearly exposure to this tax would be $3.5 billion per year. So again, if that is a 20% excise tax, as was stated in that previous screenshot, I mean, this just shows you how much money these universities are sitting on. And so it's a lot to consider. But as always, all of this is my analysis and commentary. That's what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, we covered a lot of topics in this video, but the one I'm really interested to hear about is everyone's thoughts on the American Academy. Do you like it? Do you think it's a great opportunity? Do you like that it would be available for all American citizens and would not raise taxes on the public, with the exception of these universities at all? Or are you against it? Do you think it's a form of welfare? Do you think it's too akin to free student loans? Do you think it's a slippery slope to, free colleges, free healthcare, free everything? I know it's going to be a heated debate in the comments, but I am, excited to learn and read and see everyone's opinions from both sides. So let me know down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.